Hi there and welcome to Transcona Trailer Sales. Today I'm going to be walking you through your 2008 Keystone Cougar. We're just going to start off with the back of the unit. If you notice up top there, you do have a little light at the back here. The control for that is inside, and I'll run you through that once we get there. You got your ladder so you can get up and periodically check your seals, and then you have your main 30 amp twist lock inlet power cord. You just take a note of that notch there. It lines up with this notch on this side. Just line those up, push that into place, 8th turn to lock it in, and then you got that threaded collar to really lock it down. If you follow that cord back, you just come to your standard 30 amp plug-in. Most campsites should have this and you can plug right on in. But let's say you're at home and you want to run the fridge, or your campsite only has 15 amp service. We do include a 15 amp park adapter. Just keep it in mind when you're going down to 15 amps of power, you aren't going to be able to run anything like your air conditioner. It really is just to run your fridge and your lights, so just be mindful of that. Plug it in like so. Also at the back, the prior customer did weld up a 2-inch receiver. Just keep it in mind whenever you're pulling behind here, just be mindful of the weight. And he also did wire up a 7-pin plug too. This little tap here is just an extension for the fresh tank drain. So that's going to be how you drain all your water out of your fresh tank. Get your spare tire, of course. Then around the left side, in all 4 corners of the unit, you do stabilizer jacks. You just take a 3/4 inch socket, run these feet down to the ground. Once the foot contacts the ground, just give it another 1/8 quarter turn just to snug it up, and it's going to take any bounce or sway you see we have in the unit right now away. You got your water hookup, taking that, putting your fresh hose in there, and that's how you fill your fresh tank. And then if you're at a site with service, you can just pop this cap off, thread a guard nose in here and turn it on, and it's going to pressurize all those lines without the needing to run your water pump. And then right here you do have a coax inlet just for some satellite TV. A little further down the unit, you do come to your sewer outlet. You're just taking that outlet, twisting it, pulling it off. You got those 2 ears there. Those are going to be the same 2 ears your sewer hose has, and they just line up with these notches here and twist and lock into place. You got this valve here, so this is just a safety valve, I guess you could call it. With it closed, it's not going to allow anything open no matter which valves you open. You do have to have this open once your sewer's connected. Right up front here, you're going to have this valve here, and that is going to be for the galley for the kitchen sink because it has its own tank. And a little further ahead, you're going to first have your black valve, which is going to be for your toilet. That's going to be your dirtiest water, so you are going to want to empty that first, and then you can come behind that with your galley tank. And then this one's going to be your gray tank, so your gray tank's going to hold from your sink from the bathroom and your shower. And you can always empty those last, just keeping that hose that little bit cleaner. Speaking of that, and I forgot to mention it, we do store the hose inside the back bumper here typically. It's not in here right now because we have a brand new one located in that front compartment. I'll show you that in a second. We just use this pin to hold it into place. That way it doesn't fall out while traveling. A little further up the unit, you got your exterior shower. Your unit's going to come with a 751 key, just like this. Stick it in there, give it a turn, and it'll allow for that to, well, in that case, locked it. But if you pull it down, that unlocks it. You got hot and cold water. And you're going to notice up from there is going to be that black tank flush. So whenever your black tank, you always have to make sure that your black tank is connected and the valve's open before you thread a guard nose in here. But that's just to keep that tank that little bit cleaner, flushing it out. So if you're getting false monitor panel readings or just noticing an odor, it could be a good thing to do every few uses. Inside this compartment here, you're just opening that guy up and you get all your storage space. And that's where you get your 3/4 inch drive tool for the stabilizer jacks. And then you got this, which is just a manual override for the jacks. And then underneath, you get that starter kit. And that is where we have the sewer hose located, that 15-foot water hose, and then just some other goodies, as well as that 15 amp park adapter, which I've already told you about. And then you do have storage space under here, just being mindful of all your water lines and your ducting. Now on this side here, as well as on the other side, you do get your 30-pound propane tank, which is stored inside here. To undo it, you're just undoing that strap, taking this off like a standard barbecue, and you can take it out to get it filled. To turn it on, you're just opening that valve up counterclockwise slowly and opening it up all the way to open up the flow of propane to the unit fully. And then down underneath at the front, you're gonna notice you do have that front light. So if you're docking at night, you get a little bit of light under here, and then turning these on is also another set of dock lights right at the front, which light up with that switch. And then you just have your front landing leg controls. So extend or retract will retract them, and extend will extend them. And then inside the front compartment, lifting this guy up, you do have some more extra storage space. Of course, just keeping in mind this bar turns whenever you're running the landing jacks, so you're always going to want to make sure you have this free so it's allowed to spin. And then under here is that battery. It's held on with the strap. If you undid the strap, this cap would come off and would give you access to that battery. You got a battery disconnect right here. With it in the position it's in now, locked in, the batteries are connected to the unit. If you were to turn that and pull it out, the batteries become disconnected from the unit. Then on the other side of the unit, you got that propane storage, which I've already told you about. It's the same thing as the one on the other side. Then you get to your hot water, your service port, opening that guy up. Got an 1.1/8" drain bolt right down here at the bottom. You got a pressure relief valve, so whenever you first get to your site, you're just giving that guy a crack. There should be a shot of water coming out of there, letting you know that the tank's full. We currently have the tank drained and winterized, ready for customer pickup as it's still kind of winter here. I'm gonna go over a reset procedure inside. The button I'm referring to is just right here. And then down in the left-hand corner, you're gonna see a little switch there. It's currently on off, so this water heater is gonna fire on propane. If you were to wanna fire it on electric, you just have to turn that switch on and you'd be switched over to electric heat. Propane heat is more efficient, heats the water quicker, but electric is, I guess, a cheaper option to use. Whenever your furnace is running, this can be pushing out hot air, so be mindful of that. Fridge service port, not much you have to worry there. 2 standard outlets. When you get your door, I'm just gonna run you through the awning quick. You open up this compartment here, you're gonna notice that long little pole there. You just gotta take this pole, run it up to the top, flick this little switch up, allowing it to unroll, unlocking your awning arms on both the front and rear, so that allows them to travel. Got a little hook, a little strap up there. You're just hooking that tool in there, and then just pulling, and it's going to make its way towards you. Once you get that little flap come down, you know you're fully extended. Now, setting that guy aside, unlock these arms here, extend them out all the way to the top, lock them into place, taking this lever, pulling it, and now you can extend that awning up for whatever height you desire, locking that into place. And now you are going to see the pitch of your awning is angled like so. So if we were to start raining, this is how you want to keep it, just so you allow all that water to drain off and not pool up. Do the same thing on this side with this arm. Locks into place, and then you can unlock this arm and push it up to your height that is desired, and your awning is out, and then retract it back in. It's just the complete total opposite controls. Just pushing down on the plastic tab inside the track to unlock this guy, and that will all push down and in. To get inside, you're just taking that assist handle, pushing it up, holding it 90 degrees, and it will lock into place. At that point, you can open up the door. You do got a little latch here to hold your door in place. Take your stairs, fold them out. Last step folds them towards you. Then you can take a step on into the unit. First thing you notice off on your left is going to be that fire extinguisher. It's just like home. Pull this tab up, pull it out of place, pull the pin, point and shoot. On the wall here, you're going to have light switches. So the first one does all these lights inside. The second one turns on this porch light here. The third one turns on a light right at the front cap on the passenger side of the trailer. And then the last switch turns on that one light I told you right at the back here, just as some more extra lighting. And then you got your slide out switch right at the top. Pushing and holding that button down, the slide out's gonna start making its way out. Once fully extended, you can hear the whines and the clicks of the motor. Always before running your slide out, you're always being cautious of what's on either side of the slide, inside and out. That way you don't run the risk of damaging anything, bringing it out or in. And of course, keeping note of that orientation of this couch that's here, because once you move it into place, it will contact the slide out when you go to bring it in and cause damage if you don't notice it. So just be mindful of that and always making sure you have this chair out of the way when you go to run those slide outs. All the blinds in the unit do work the same way. You pull it down and it sits where you leave it. Now this is going to allow a little bit of light in. If you'd like to darken it out completely, they do have a second blind option you can pull down, which allows for less light to come in, and they all work that way. Lots of lighting all around the unit, just on their own center push buttons. In this main living space, you do have a fold-out couch. You're just having to take those cushions, pull them out of the way, like any household hide-a-bed. Get them out of the way. You can just pull, and it's going to fold that bed out. And then the last section would fold out. Then you move it back in. And just putting your cushions back into place for a couch seating area again. Little dinette, not much I'm going to show you there. This one doesn't fold out to a bed though. But now that we're in our kitchen area, you're going to notice you do have propane inside this system, as the furnace and the stove both run off propane. LP detector right here near the ground. Propane's heavier than air. If that guy ever starts going off, don't panic. Just turn off the main supply of propane and open up some windows and turn on some vents. Just ventilating it out a little bit because you're getting to a worrisome level. Light here, storage all around, as well as a little spinning rack inside up top here. Sink with hot and cold water. Storage underneath, but again, just being mindful of those drains and water lines. You got your microwave, which is just like home. Not much I'm going to show you there. Then you got your range hood, which I did forget to show you on the outside, which I'll show you now. Whenever you get to your campsite, it's always a good measure, whenever you leave, I guess, just making sure that this is clamped into place, not allowing any excess dust inside the unit while you're traveling. And then when you get to your campsite, just moving those tabs so it'll allow that to open up whenever you run in that range hood, just to evacuate those fumes, and just lock it into place when you're done. Back inside, whenever you run your stove, run that range hood just so you're evacuating those fumes, because it does run off propane. Fold your back cover back. Now you just take your stove, turn it over to high/light, hitting the sparker. Whenever you've had the propane system off for a while, it does take a few minutes just to purge all the air out of the lines. So just be patient with it. But it does light up after a few seconds. Everything's lit, and it's always a good measure to run the stove first before running the propane, before trying to run anything else propane, because again, it's just good to purge all the air out of the lines before you go to run anything. Folding this guy down to get the oven to light, it's the same thing, but you do have to have a lighter of some sort. You're going to turn that knob over to pilot, push and hold it, and then right near the back there's those little gas outlets there. You're just going to hold your lighter over it until it lights. You're going to see me now have a pilot and it's lit, just pushing it in for another few seconds, and then you can let it out. Once the pilot's able to hold its own, you can turn it up to its desired temperature, and it does fire right on up. Right below the stove, you do got your main circuit breaker, or fuse panel and circuit breaker. Whenever a breaker trips, it's going to sit in the middle, so you do just have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. And all your fuses are on the right. On the wall here, you got your monitor panel system. So you got your battery, That goes low, fair, good, and then C is charging, and we're currently plugged in, so we're charging. Then you got your fresh, your black, and your gray, as well as your galley. And then you got your water pump switch, turning that on draws from your fresh tank. And then you got your water heater option, turning that on. You're gonna see this little red light in the middle turn on whenever you're firing it on gas. Water heater's gonna try lighting itself 3 times. If on the 3rd try it doesn't light, this little red light's gonna stay on. In that case, you do just have to turn the switch off, go outside, hit the reset button I showed you earlier, and then come back in here and retry it. You do have your fridge here. Controls for that are just right up here. So with the button depressed like it is now, the fridge is off. Pushing that in turns the fridge on. And then we have it on auto, so it's gonna first search for AC power. Once AC power is taken away, it'll automatically switch over to gas. If that check light's ever on, it's just letting you know that it didn't fire up on gas. Sometimes it's because you didn't purge all the air out of the line, so you do just have to turn it off and then back on again to try it a second time. And if you want to solely run on gas, you can just depress that button and it'll just only run on gas. Opening up the fridge and freezer here. Storage all around, and then right down here, back here, you're going to notice this little plastic piece on this fin. The further you slide this fin up on this plastic piece on the fin, the colder the fridge is going to get, and the lower you have it down, the warmer it's going to be. Entertainment little area here. You do have a little pre-mount for a TV, as well as some coax cables in case you were wanting to run your TV through the stereo. And then the old owner did include just some miscellaneous hookups for the TV and converters. You got your stereo, which is pretty much just like home, minus the fact of having A, B, and C. A speakers are going to be these main speakers in the living space here. B speakers are going to be your front bed speakers, and then, sorry, A speakers are for the back set of speakers. The B speakers are for the middle set here, and the C speakers are for the very back. Other than that, it's your standard radio, just like home. Storage all around. Right here, you're gonna notice by the stairs, you got this handle with these 2 screws. It's where you get access to your hot water heater for winterization. And then there's also a little trap door that does give you access into that front storage compartment. Nice little feature. Whenever you're using the bathroom in the bedroom, you're just undoing that travel strap. Always be mindful to latch that up whenever you go traveling so this door's not flying back and forth, just to allow you some privacy. And then up into the bedroom, light switches are all on their own center push buttons. On the wall, you got your main thermostat. So on your fan setting, whenever you have it on auto, it's going to be an on-demand system, so kick in and off as needed. And for the fan, it does run through the air conditioner, so the fan settings don't affect the furnace at all. The furnace just has one setting. You got high, low, so that's high fan and low fan. And then you got off. Turning it up to cool, it would kick that air conditioner into the cooling setting. And then furnace would obviously fire up the furnace. Temperature setting is just on your right. You're gonna notice this little controller here. It is for the fan in the bedroom. Pretty simple. You got all your controls here. If you hit open, the dome's gonna start opening up on that fan. And then at any point in time, you can hit stop when you're at your desired height. And then once it's open up all the way, you can turn that fan on high, off, or low. You can either have it so that's sucking in air or blowing out air. Hit that stop button, it stops. Hit the close button, it closes. Got that fan. Just keep that latched on the wall here. And then inside this door, inside the bathroom, light switches on the wall. Little toilet, pretty simple. Flushers on the left. You got your shower with hot and cold water. And then of course you have your antenna. Pulling this guy down and twisting it would allow it to control its direction, but whenever you are traveling, making sure these 2 arrows line up, that way you can bring it properly all the way down. And then to raise it up, it's just the opposite way. And that's gonna improve your radio frequency as well as your TV frequency. Just whenever you do bring it down, just making sure it's all the way down. Here got your front bed, which has a little bit of storage space underneath. Nice little assist nuts. Not much I'm going to show you in here other than the emergency exit. So you can just stick your fingers behind that screen, pull it out, it'll allow that screen to pop out of place. Take that assist handle, push it out, and then at that point you can hop out of the unit. And then to pop it back in, you just got to line up the tabs and push it into place. That's going to be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.